I'm on my way to Tiandong County in Guangxi province, a county that has long been listed as a state-level poverty-stricken county. Like many other counties across China, Tiandong has managed to overcome poverty with the help of local and national authorities. They have done it through relocation and off to investigate the impact of this achievement. My name is Boncho Dragiyski. I have taught at universities in the United States and in China, and I have been serving the poor since 2003. My first stop is Longbang village in Guangxi province, close to China's border with Vietnam. Under a voluntary relocation program, many villagers have moved to modern government-subsidized homes in urban communities in the hope of transforming their lives. But others have chosen to remain in the village, despite the hard living conditions. I want to find out why. As you can see, the terrain around me is dominated by karst landforms. And serious erosion means that it is almost impossible to grow crops that require a lot of water or fertile ground. As I enter Longbang, I'm greeted by dilapidated housing structures and poor infrastructure. I'm standing in front of one of the oldest houses in the village. It belongs to Lu Jingnan, who has lived all of his 80 years right here. I have finally arrived in Longbang village, a small community of about 40 families located at the foothills of the mountain. Right now, I'm standing in front of one of the oldest houses in the village, a house that belongs to Lu Jingnan, an 80-year-old resident who spent in this house all of his life. I'm about to enter the kitchen of Lu Jingnan's house, where he is currently cooking his lunch. As you can see, the facilities in this kitchen are very basic. There's no running water, and the space is dark and humid. Mr. Lu, the Chinese government offered you the opportunity to move into better, modern housing facilities in the city, and you chose to remain in the village. Now, what is it so special about this village that made you make this decision? Mr. Lu's answer was short, but it struck a chord of a conversation that I once had with an old woman from Baltimore who didn't care much about the poor conditions of her house or the lack of modern facilities in the neighborhood. She told me that she was exactly where she wanted to belong, where her parents had lived before her, and where her neighbors still greeted her every morning. Perhaps Mr. Lu feels the same way about his local Yao community. Similar programs worldwide have shown us that the challenges are many in this time of approach to poverty, and overcoming them hasn't been easy. The Rio de Janeiro Housing Relocation Program, for example. According to figures from the Brazilian government, since 2009, 22,000 families have been resettled into new housing communities. Recent reports tell us, however, that a great number of citizens were resettled outside of the city limits. There are higher expenses for utilities, lack of secure jobs and infrastructure in the new communities, and they also have additional physical and mental health concerns. Many concerns have been raised regarding how these and other world relocation projects affect the human rights of resettlers. In the face of such concerns, how has the Tiandong government addressed these challenges? Mr. Lu told me that his son has moved to the city. I'm going there to meet him and other relocated residents.
Hello!
I'm at the site of one of two residential communities that the Chinese government built for the villagers of Longbang. There are 4 main buildings surrounded by a kindergarten, a school for the children, playground, several convenience stores, a medical center that provides daily assistance to residents, a maintenance office, and a very soon-to-open supermarket. My first impression is one of carefree children and young adults who have found new jobs.
在这里公司一个月也有2000多，一天也可以赚80-90块钱，所以我觉得挺好的。在这里要靠近家，可以看到父母啊、亲人啊都很开心。去广东回来又太远了，所以在这边靠近亲人都很开心。
While speaking to the men and women in the factory, I discovered that the owner of the factory is the son of the same man, Lu Jingnan, whom I met this morning in Longbang village. Mr. Lu, 你好. Your father said that since you moved to the city, you have been able to adapt easily and quickly. Can you tell me what has changed in your life since you moved to the city?
这从山里搬出来后，这里比老家那边好得多了。要不您去我家里看看一下？
谢谢. Mr. Lu has just invited us to his house. Let's go visit. As you can immediately see, there are vast improvements in living conditions in this apartment. Mr. Lu has a 3-bedroom apartment with running water, electrical appliances and gas. The decor and the furniture are still quite basic, partly because he chose to invest his state subsidy in a headphones factory. Mr. Lu also showed me the spacious room he has set aside for his father whenever he chooses to visit. Since joining the volunteer relocation program, Mr. Lu's income has increased, as have the opportunities to expand his business. It is clear that the local government has made great strides in assisting new residents in adapting to their new environment. The challenges that Tiandong faces are not new to the international community. The clearance of the Turkish Gecekondu areas, the Colombian government's housing policy from 2012, and the 2009 project to address poverty in the Brazilian favelas all failed to meet the needs of resettlers despite positive changes in varying degrees. Homelessness, joblessness, and human displacement continue to be issues in those 3 examples. From what I have been able to observe, these are not issues in Tiandong, but the local government should now consider addressing the particular psychological needs of the new Yao residents. I met people, mostly elderly, who are struggling to adapt to their new environment. For one thing, they don't read nor speak Mandarin, and this creates significant psychological challenges for the new residents. They have had to learn to do things that many of us have long taken for granted, such as learning how to use electrical appliances. So they'll need continuing assistance, but I've been assured that the local government is always looking at innovative ways to try to ensure that the most vulnerable are able to cope in the new surroundings. The government's policy alleviation plan seems to be more than just a relocation program, however, as its focus on promoting and subsidizing local agricultural initiative is stronger than ever. In 2014, the authorities created a plan to coordinate the efforts of farmers in Tiandong, now known as one of the villages of the mango, by bringing in experts in cultivation of the fruit and helping with logistics generally.
08年的时候，我们这里村的时候，我来的时候呢，还是瓦房的多。现在呢，每个家都起了平房了，都起了砖房了。17年举办了世界芒果展，迎来了好多外来商，比08年以前呢翻了1倍多了。收入好，比以前好，收入多了，收入就多了。还是谢谢政府帮我们打开了销路。
This is the famous Baizi mango. 谢谢。
不客气。
It's really delicious. It's very good. 28 villages with more than 11,000 people have risen above China's poverty line through mango cultivation. The people that I met at the mango farms were mostly aging or had family connections with mango growing. What about the younger labor force? Those who had to travel to other cities to seek better economic opportunities and were forced to leave their parents and children behind. An egg-producing farm might just have the answer. There are over 80 people employed at the farm, most of them from poor families. Behind me is the conveyor belt that delivers the eggs into the packing facility, where workers place them in cartons. Now, how has this farm changed the lives of local people? Let's talk to them. 你好。
之前我是工资2000，来这里有2000到3000多，然后离家又近，我觉得挺开心的。
今年我在广东，就是在五金上，在这里差不多1年了。看见那个小孩也很开心的，来回也很方便。
I'm now in Bingjian School. This is what happiness and investment in the future looks like. The school covers both primary and secondary students, 3,700 of them.
我们以前的学校比较小，现在这里的学校比较大。以前才学3科，就是学数学和语文还有体育，现在学了7科。
我很喜欢这个学校，这里要长大，题材多，可以学到很多东西。
吃的东西每天搭配都不同。 体重会比较容易消压。
我在这里知道烧鸭、鸡腿、鸡蛋都是我喜欢吃的，然后都是我以前很少知道的东西。
My trip to Tiandong County is almost over. I came to Guangxi province to explore how the government's efforts to address poverty in the area have affected the lives of local people. In the last couple of days, I have discovered that poverty alleviation through relocation can quickly change the material conditions of local people, with better transportation, better facilities, and improved medical assistance. The benefits of this program are immediately obvious. But the psychological and cultural needs of the villagers, especially the elderly, should not be overlooked. The sudden change from the countryside to the busy urban life into an unfamiliar multi-ethnic environment, in this case, can create significant obstacles for some. The Chinese government has developed a more holistic model, which remains a work in progress, but from which other developing countries can learn. I leave Tiandong with my main questions answered. But one thought from the elder Mr. Lu. He said he chose to stay here in Longbang. Many economists suggest that the best way to help poor people from rural areas is to move them out. Others insist that we should let rural areas die. Is one option better than the other? I don't know. What I do know is what I have learned on this trip. The here of the Yao people comes from the soil. The same soil that gives corn to Mr. Lu in Longbang. The soil that produces some of the best mangoes in the world. The soil that allows the citizens of Tiandong County to look to the future without forgetting their past.